Nothing to do with Ukraine and nothing to do with peace. It's all about Trump advancing his business interest and the economic interest of America.
There's a good chance we can get this done. I believe Putin wants to do it. Now, if I thought Putin didn't want, I mean, that's what I do. My whole life is like deals, one big deal. And if I thought that President Putin did not want to get this over with, I wouldn't even be talking about it, because I'd just pull out.
I don't know what was accomplished. We don't ever know what to believe when it comes to Trump. I don't think his heart is into this. And I think Putin knows how to play him pretty damn well. If America were an honest broker right now, and you're trying to bring two sides to the table, and one side is utterly uninterested in coming to the table, that would be Putin, then you'd whack him upside the head and to try to get him to come to the table. But Trump can't do that, because he can't be too hard on Russia. So Trump's fallback is going to be, okay, we tried. America's just going to walk away. We've done what we can. I think that's Trump's fallback.
Got very big egos involved, I tell you. Big egos involved. But I think something's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'd just back away, and they're going to have to keep going. Again, this was a European situation. It should have remained a European situation, should have remained. But we have, because the past administration felt very strongly that we should be involved, and we got involved much more than Europe did in terms of the money and all of the things that we gave. We gave massive amounts, I think record-setting amounts given to a foreign. There's never been anything like this, both weaponry and money. And Europe gave a lot also, but they didn't give anywhere near what we gave. We gave probably almost 3 times the amount, and it's just a shame. The whole thing is a shame.
I'm not alone, but I've been preaching to Europe and the rest of the world. As long as Donald Trump is in the White House, America is not going to be on the side of the free world. It sucks. It sucks to have to say that. But here we are now 119 days later, and I think Europe gets it. Europe and NATO is just going to have to kind of stand by Ukraine and support Ukraine as long as they can until America wakes up from this. Could be 3.5 years. Maybe it'll be sooner. But Europe and NATO and Ukraine together are going to have to bolster Ukraine, because the only way to get Putin to give or stop or do anything is to beat Putin up on the battlefield. By the way, Trump doesn't want that. Trump doesn't want to strengthen Ukraine on the battlefield.
I thought there was a very good chance, like a 50-50 chance, that he would say, I want to take the whole thing. I didn't know what he was going to say. And then they have a different kind of a problem.
Trump, again, is negotiating on behalf of Putin. Putin made it clear in his readout from today's call that Putin hasn't budged on any of his demands. So instead of America being like a mediator between two sides, we're stuck because Trump is on one side, the bad side, and he can only give and move so much. And that's why there's been so little movement in this peace process. Trump came out of the call today. What did Trump mostly talk about? He can't wait to do a bunch of trade deals with Russia. So this is all just transactional. Trump supports Russia. He wants Ukraine to give Russia whatever they want so the war can be over, so Donald Trump can engage in trade deals and pull Russia back in to the rest of the peace-loving nations in this world. That's his endgame. Nothing to do with Ukraine and nothing to do with peace. It's all about Trump advancing his business interest and the economic interest of America.
You know, I had many of the leaders of European nations on the line with me right after the call, and we have to get that thing solved. 5,000 young people every single week on average. And I've seen satellite pictures. You don't want to see these pictures. We'll have to see what happens. This was not my war. This is not a war that would have happened if I were president. This is not my war. I'm just here to try and help. We've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on this war, and yet that's not. Frankly, we made much more than that just in 4 days in the Middle East. It's a lot of money, but we do much. This is about thousands of people dying every single week. 5,000, 6,000 people dying every single week.
Why haven't you increased the sanctions on Russia yet?
Well, because I think there's a chance of getting something done. And if you do that, you can also make it much worse. But there could be a time when that's going to happen.
I think when Putin insists that they meet in person, they will. I don't think Trump wants to be embarrassed by his boss here. So I think what he's trying to do, again, he's unhappy with his boss because his boss is beginning to make him look bad, but he still works for Putin. So he's trying to just do whatever he can to get Putin to give just a little bit. And if he gives just a little bit, then Trump will sit down with him. Every time Zelensky can talk to Trump, it's important. It helps because Trump's not on Zelensky's side. He's on Putin's side. So Donald Trump right now is impatient with his boss because Putin's making him look bad. Trump came into office figuring he'd get this done right away because he could negotiate on behalf of Putin. It didn't work out. So every time Zelensky can put real data and real information and intelligence in front of Trump, it's helpful.
Zelensky, a strong guy, and he's not the easiest person to deal with. But I think that he wants to stop. He's, not. It's a very bad thing that's happening over there. I think he wants to stop. But I could answer that question better in 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now. I hope the answer is that he wants to get it solved. Because this isn't our war. This is not my war. This is not the war. I mean, we got ourselves entangled in something that we shouldn't have been involved in. And we would have been a lot better off. And maybe the whole thing would have been better off because it can't be much worse. It's a real mess. It's a death trap. So I think that, yeah, I would say I do have a certain line. But I don't want to say what that line is because I think it makes the negotiation even more difficult than it is.